Do these Birmingham City players care? That is the big question hanging over this final game of the season. Adam and 20,000 more hope they do. One last roll of the die, and we're here to preview it. Welcome back to Terrace Talk. It might be Adam for the final time. I can't believe we're going to say that. How are you?
I'm just running over with now, to be honest. I almost know we're going down, so I'm almost prepared for it. I've been saying it all season. We're not good enough, so yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm kind of thinking Norwich have just got to tap that final nail in the coffin, and it's done, isn't it?
Is there any anger left in your body now? Because you've gone through the motions, haven't you? Frustration, anger, disbelief. Are you now in that kind of, like you say, resigned mode? Those players don't seem to care. Some of them, do they?
I've definitely resigned to the fact that I know we're going down. I think there's more frustration that there's still fans out there that want to defend these players, and I'm thinking, how can you defend players that haven't beaten Rotherham, Sheffield Wednesday, Millwall, Huddersfield away from home? We just haven't picked any points up against these teams.
The game against Huddersfield on Saturday, many said it was always going to be a 1-1 draw. Who was the better team?
I don't think either team had enough quality to win the game. I'd probably say Huddersfield pushed it a little bit more than Blues. Neither team had any quality to win that game. It was a real League One game, to be fair.
Why do you think what is it in the game that you see that means on Twitter, always read comments, is these players don't care, they're not showing passion, they're not doing the job? Is there a lack of energy and drive, in the passing? Do players run with their heads down, not looking up for passes? Do players go missing? Is there a fear in this team, do you think?
No, there's everything you don't want in a team. I mean, starting from probably the formation, playing one up top all season, and that's an 18-year-old kid. No supporting for him. Players just too busy wanting to throw their arms around, trying to get the crowd behind them when they're not giving anything for the crowd to get behind them. There's no one there that wants to just go and win a tackle. They're just weak. Listen, none of these players are good enough, and I've been screaming it from the rooftops all season.
Yeah, I feel for you, because I've listened to that. I feel like we've listened to the same conversation, had the same conversation for 45 weeks, and it has finally come down to this. When you did score, though, I did think at half time, I thought, you're going to do this now, and then. Yeah.
See, even that, and to come out within the first 5 minutes of the second half and concede the way we did, again, just players switching off at the back, which has been happening all season. And then that was it. We ain't got that many goals in us, and we were never going to get back in the game or even try and win the game. So. I think that, like I said, the damage is done now. I think it's just we ain't going to beat Norwich the weekend at all.
Well, let's not give up hope just yet, because when Hull equalised against Ipswich at the weekend, there must have been a tiny part of you that celebrated that goal, because if they hadn't have scored, that would have meant that Plymouth game was a dead rubber for Hull. Now it isn't. They need to beat Plymouth now. If they do beat Plymouth, and many Plymouth fans will say, yeah, they definitely will beat us because we are garbage, and Norwich have their complete eye off this game because they're already safe and Hull can't catch them, potentially you have a chance, don't you?
I don't think Norwich rested that many players, because I think they've got a good run of form at the minute. I think the rest too many players, they disrupt that run of form about when they're about to go into the playoffs. So I don't see him rest. I'd love to not see that. Is it Sargent or something on the pitch and players like that? I'd love to not see him anywhere near that starting 11. But I think they'll start the game. I think they'll try and get themselves 1-0 up in the first half, and then they'll take them off, just hoping that a draw's enough, and a draw's not good enough for us.
Let's bring in our Norwich fan, and let's put that question to him then. Alfie, welcome to the Birmingham City View. You are the kingmakers of this relegation decision. You have got all of Sheffield, all of Plymouth, and all of Blackburn 100% behind you this weekend. But the Blues fans want to know if you're going to be resting any players. What are your thoughts?
No, I do agree with what you said. I don't think we will because, well, we basically are in the playoffs, aren't we? Unless we lose 5-0 to Birmingham and then Hull wins 3-0, say, for example. But I don't think he is going to disrupt the squad because that could upset a few people right before we go into him. I think he's going to try to keep that momentum going, especially with the away form. He's going to want to put a little bit of confidence away from home as well as at home. I think he's just going to go straight into it with this unchanged 11, maybe. I reckon he might start Rhodes, getting back up to full fitness because he's obviously been out injured and he's been coming on as a sub for the last 20, half an hour. So I reckon he might start him just to get him match fit for playoffs. But I don't know. I don't know about Sargent. I reckon he might start the game. I don't think he'll play ages. I reckon he might give Sidney Van Hooijdonk a good run out on a Saturday, depending on how things go, obviously. But no, I don't think he'll massively disrupt it, but there could be one or two changes in that squad.
Okay. Of course, Alfie, the thing we've documented with you boys all season is Norwich's poor away form. At home, you are unbeatable, except for Bristol City a couple of weeks ago. But away from home, you are dodgy. Tell the Blues fans how you can beat them.
Well, beat them if we get an early goal and we're playing on the front foot like we did at Stoke, place like that. I thought that was a more tricky one. If we got an early goal, we destroyed them really. If we do that on Saturday at Birmingham, I think that could be a similar situation. But if the crowd, I think Birmingham will be up for it. I think obviously it sounds by things the players don't seem like they really care as much, like I'm hearing. But I do think the manager will get them up for it because at the end of the day, you're a championship club. You're not a League One club. You're going to want to stay in the league. I think they will be up for it, and they might unsettle us a little bit. So yeah, we'll see.
Okay, and how do they beat you?
I reckon. Well, that's Stansfield up top, absolute player, and so he can upset Gibson at the back because he's always a little bit shaky on the pace. Gibson, Duffy. So I reckon direct striker play, getting their shots off, they could get a bit of cause us a bit of trouble there. But if we get, like I said, Sarah, Sargent, Rowe, Signs on the ball, on the front foot with confidence, got to pray for them, really, haven't you?
Okay. All right. Thanks, Alfie. This could be two clubs going in different directions. It's amazing to think that Norwich and Birmingham could be two divisions apart. Thanks, Alfie, for joining us on the channel. Appreciate that. Anything you've heard there, Adam, give you confidence?
I'd honestly probably say it's going to be a draw. I don't see Blues having enough to stop Norwich from scoring, and I don't see Blues having enough to win the game. Based on probably what we've seen the last 6 weeks alone, never mind the last 45 games.
Okay. We are going live on Toast Talk on Saturday afternoon following the game, and we'd love all Blues fans to come on and talk to us about how it's gone, including yourself, if you can bear it, live from the stadium, singing Red Red Rhine at the top of your voice as you've just nicked a 90th minute winner.
I don't know about that, mate. I can't promise to see if with that one.
All right, then. What about squads, then? Who's he start?
None of them. Bar Stansfield. He's the only player this season that can walk out of that ground at the end of the season with his head held high. The rest of them, I could watch them all leave tomorrow and I wouldn't care less. We ain't got a squad, have we? Let's face it. So we're just picking the best of a bad bunch. It'll probably, for me, I'd probably start with Ruddy in goals. I'd probably bring Mark Roberts back in for some height, deal with some crosses. Sargent's a big bloke for them up top. Drop Bielik back into midfield. Again, that gains the height, gets Sunjic out because we need players who can pass the ball where you can't pass the ball. And for me, I'd probably start Dembele, Miyoshi, Bakuna, and Stansfield. I just think and 45 minutes, if it's 0-0, that's it. Bring on it. Just go hell for leather and just throw everyone up. See what happens. So nothing to lose, have we? Everything to
absolutely
gain.
Not. And don't forget, I think we spoke about like this before the commentary game, didn't we? And I think we have similar veins that this team aren't good enough, but they did pull a result out of the bag that day, and it did surprise you, and even you had to come on here and say how good they played for one game out of 8. Okay, it's one game out of 8, but they have got it in. Have faith. You can tell the difference between someone who hasn't watched Birmingham last 45 games and someone who has, can't you? All right, let's get some score predictions from you then. Go on. It's 80th minute. It's 0-0 at both Home Park and St Andrews. What happens next?
It's 1-1 at St Andrews. I think Norwich will score first half. Blues will push and push second half. Norwich will just sit back, nothing to play for, and I think we'll get one, but I don't think we'll have the quality to get the second, and I think that will evidently relegate us.
Okay. Which is unfathomable to think that this club this size is going to be in League One next season. We'll catch up with you next week. Come win, lose or draw, and we'll have a chat to you then. If you're a Birmingham fan watching this, let me tell you 3 things. 1, Norwich aren't that good away from home. 2, Plymouth are awful. Hull will beat them if you can just find that goal. Have the spirit against Coventry. You can do this. Trust me. Maybe not. All right. Join us next week. Join us live on Saturday if you've stayed up. Join us live on Saturday if you've been relegated. Look forward to seeing you, Adam. Good luck.
Cheers, Mark. Appreciate it. Thank you for the season.